Think about the last time you were completely certain about something. Completely. 100%. No doubt. Now think about how many other people, equally intelligent, equally educated, were completely certain of the exact opposite. Both of you felt the truth. Both of you were using the same brain. Both of you were wrong about the other person being irrational. Here is the question nobody asks. What if the feeling of certainty has nothing to do with being correct? What if your brain does not generate beliefs because they are true, but because they are useful? What if you have been running on a survival operating system your entire life and calling it reality? There is an assumption so deeply embedded in Western culture that almost nobody questions it. The assumption that the human brain evolved to perceive reality accurately. That given enough intelligence, enough education, enough careful thinking, a human being can arrive at truth. Evolutionary biology says something far more disturbing. Natural selection does not select for truth. It selects for survival. And those are not the same thing. Not even close. For 2.5 million years, humans survived not by seeing reality clearly, but by seeing reality usefully. The brain that saw a shadow and assumed predator survived more often than the brain that waited for better data. Even if the shadow was just a leaf. Even if the assumption was wrong 90% of the time. Evolutionary psychologist Donald Hoffman spent decades running computer simulations, testing whether organisms that perceived reality accurately outcompete organisms that perceived useful illusions. In every single simulation, truth lost. Fitness won. His conclusion was staggering. Perceiving objective reality accurately would make you evolutionarily extinct. Because reality is too complex, too expensive, too slow to process in real time. So your brain built a shortcut, a survival dashboard, not a window to reality. A cockpit display showing only what kept your ancestors alive. We are taught to think of cognitive biases as errors, glitches in human reasoning, things to overcome with better education and critical thinking. But what if that entire framing is wrong? What if cognitive biases are not failures of intelligence, but highly optimized solutions to ancient problems? Take confirmation bias, the tendency to search only for information that confirms what you already believe. Objectively irrational, epistemically destructive, and an absolute masterpiece of evolutionary engineering. Because for most of human history, being rejected by your tribe was a death sentence. No food, no shelter, no protection, no reproduction. So the brain evolved a mechanism to protect group belonging above almost everything else, including truth. Reasoning was not designed to find truth. It was designed to win arguments and protect social status, says Jonathan Haidt, social psychologist. This is why intelligent people are often worse at changing their minds, not better. Higher intelligence does not eliminate bias. It builds a more sophisticated legal defense for the beliefs you already hold. A smarter brain is not a more accurate brain. Sometimes it is a more convincing liar. Picture two of your ancestors standing in a forest 100,000 years ago. A bush moves. Ancestor 1 thinks, probably just the wind. Ancestor 2 thinks, could be a predator. Run. Ancestor 2 is wrong 999 times out of 1,000. But the one time they are right, Ancestor 1 is dead. You are descended from Ancestor 2. Your anxiety is not a disorder. Your catastrophizing is not weakness. Your inability to stop imagining worst-case scenarios is a battle-tested survival program, running on hardware that has not been updated in 100,000 years. Evolutionary psychologists call this error management theory. The brain evolved to prefer certain false alarms over certain missed threats. And neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett showed something even more unsettling. The brain is not reacting to reality. It is predicting it. Your brain runs simulations of threat before your senses have finished reporting. You respond to your prediction of the world, not the world itself. Which means the reality you experience every moment is partly a hallucination, a controlled, survival-optimized hallucination, constrained, but never replaced by sensory data. Here is where it gets genuinely frightening. Scientists believe humans did not just evolve to deceive other people. We evolved to deceive ourselves first. The evolutionary biologist Robert Trivers spent decades on this question. His conclusion: Self-deception evolves in the service of deception. If you genuinely believe your own lie, you become a more convincing liar. And more convincing liars win. Think about what that means. The most socially effective humans may have been the ones who could sincerely believe their own exaggerations. The overconfident warrior who genuinely believed he could win, and sometimes did because the belief changed his behavior. The social leader who genuinely believed she deserved respect, and received it because conviction is contagious. Psychologists Shelley Taylor and Jonathan Brown confirmed this in research. Mentally healthy people tend to have mildly unrealistic positive illusions about themselves and their future. Depressed people are often more accurate. Read that again. The people with the most accurate self-perception are the most depressed. The people functioning well psychologically are running a slightly distorted program, which creates the most disturbing possibility of this entire video. What if some illusions are not obstacles to living well, but requirements for it? Hold a dollar bill. Look at what it actually is. Cotton, linen, ink. It has value only because millions of people simultaneously believe it does. The moment that collective belief ends, it becomes paper. The same is true for nations, lines humans drew on dirt and agreed to kill each other to defend. Corporations, legal fictions that own buildings and employ humans but have never existed physically. Status, a ranking system made entirely of other people's opinions. Human rights, values with no physical existence, upheld only by collective agreement. Historian Yuval Noah Harari calls these intersubjective realities, realities that exist not in the physical world, and not just inside one person's mind, but inside the shared imagination of millions simultaneously. Humans conquered the world not because we see reality more clearly than other animals, but because we are uniquely capable of believing in things that do not exist. Your brain did not evolve to navigate physical reality. It evolved to navigate social reality. And those two things are not the same. So here is the inventory. Your senses do not record reality. They interpret a filtered version optimized for survival. Your memory does not replay the past. It reconstructs it, editing every time for narrative coherence. Your reasoning did not evolve to find truth. It evolved to win social arguments. Your emotions are ancient threat response systems running in a world they were not designed for. Your self-image is a mildly distorted performance optimized for status and belonging. And your deepest beliefs may exist not because they are accurate, but because they are useful for your survival. This means the question your brain is always secretly asking is not, "Is this true?" It is, "Does this help me survive? Does this protect my identity? Does this keep me in the group? Does this reduce my fear? Does this make me feel significant?" And truth is only recruited when it serves those deeper goals. You are not a rational being who sometimes feels emotions. You are a survival machine that occasionally performs rationality. There is one thing I want to leave with you. Not a solution, not a list of things to do differently, just a question, the most dangerous question you may ever encounter. What is the most important belief you currently hold that you have never once seriously tried to disprove? Not question, disprove. The beliefs that feel most certain are the ones most likely to be running on pure survival programming. Because the brain does not protect weak beliefs aggressively. It protects the ones it needs most, which means the beliefs you would be most emotionally devastated to lose are the exact ones that deserve the most scrutiny. Maybe consciousness is not a window to the world. Maybe it is a survival tool that sometimes gets close to the truth by accident. The question is, which of your truths are actually just well-disguised survival strategies? Drop your answer in the comments. What belief have you never tried to disprove? If this cracked something open for you, share it with one person who would never expect to watch this kind of video. Those are the best conversations. And if you want to keep going deeper, the next video is waiting.